Hey y'all, welcome back to We Made the Change. I'm Crystal.
And I am Melvin. Today, Crystal, we go talk about a subject that definitely gets you in, something that we had to really, I'm going to say, we had to use this to push us to that next level, because I think this is something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning stages, because it's like you have to constantly keep working at this on a day-to-day basis.
That's true.
And that topic for today, guys, is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is something I don't think I learned until I got older.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. I
me
ain't know.
too.
I ain't know
Yeah.
nothing about no words of affirmation. I mean, I think the only words of affirmation I got when I was young was church on Sunday.
That was your affirmation?
That was the affirmation. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. When you think about words of affirmation, how would you describe words of affirmation for somebody who don't understand what you're saying? Because it sounds normal to me and you,
Yeah,
but for the individual, you know what I'm saying, who don't know, what would you explain?
I think it's just speaking life into yourself. Like speaking positive, keeping negative thoughts out, and just putting it out there in the universe.
Now, when you say speaking, are you talking about from the mind or with your mouth?
I think you need to do it with your mouth.
Man.
Put it out there.
That's where the
because-
uncomfortable part starts.
Yeah, because sometimes the loudest voice in the room is us holding us back.
Absolutely.
So we have to speak life into ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we put it in everybody else.
Yeah.
But why we don't put it into ourselves? So we have to do that.
And that's crazy that you say we put it in everybody else, because typically, especially if the mindset is to be successful, your biggest practice is on other people.
Mm-hmm.
You really speaking in life into other people. So you kind of get to a point to where I can tell my sister she need to do this, and she need to walk around with her head up high, and she need to know that it's gonna be all right.
And it feels natural to say that.
It feels natural to say
but
that.
when you're saying it to yourself, it doesn't. So you have to practice. You have to tell yourself this every day. I'm worthy. I'm capable of doing whatever you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Like you got to speak life into yourself.
Yeah. Do you? I'm wondering now, looking back, maybe because of the environment that I grew up in, those forms of communication wasn't.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying, for the average black household that was in the hood, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s, speaking positive into an individual within your family, it was like unnormal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Felt
saying?
awkward doing
It
it.
felt very awkward, because that's like growing up in a household where nobody ever said they love you, and then eventually when somebody say, I love you, and you looking like
you feeling uncomfortable.
yeah, it's like, what?
Yeah,
I love you. You ain't never said that.
Yeah.
So I think when you talk about the words of affirmation, and especially for our young generation of youth that are coming up and really understanding what these levels of communication can mean to your future, it's always good to start early.
Yeah, and I think with social media, they get it a lot more earlier than we got it, because I think not too long ago it was like this whole push for affirmations and stuff and manifestations. And
Especially
stuff.
with women.
Yeah.
Y'all big on it.
Yeah, we are. I got all kinds of books on.
Y'all got to look sticky notes on the window, the mirror in the bathroom and everything.
It helps.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing wrong with it, because you're not gonna have a good day every day.
Absolutely.
So you have to put it in yourself. You have to set your day up.
Yeah.
So, because for me, if I don't, I know I could be in a little funky mood.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Crystal
so,
says she need her affirmation every day.
Man, if I don't do it, somebody gonna catch hell. So I have to speak life into myself.
What was that show? I think she did it a lot. Being Mary Jane with
She did.
She did it. She used to put it on her mirror in the bathroom. She would have a sticky notes, all the words of affirmation. So It's huge. And it's
needed.
It's
though.
needed. And I don't think you realize how much it's needed until you get on that journey of being ready to change.
I feel like once you get on that journey, like it's so much stuff open up to you, so many avenues that so much stuff you didn't know about yourself.
Absolutely.
It just opens up to you.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. It's scary. It's a ride.
Why you think it's so scary?
Ooh, I'm still scared. I'm still scared because sometimes you just feel like, am I doing the right thing? Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking from you. Right. Am I doing the right thing? Can I really do this? You know, we're in trucking. Trucking is a man's, you know,
male dominant industry. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I'm seeing a lot of more women coming out, whatever. But when I first got into it, I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know none of this lingo.
Yeah.
I don't know how none of this work. And then sometimes when you're talking to the men, they make you feel small.
Absolutely.
So my husband helped with that a lot.
Yeah,
but affirmations also helped me. I had to tell myself, girl, you got this.
You got this.
Like
and I know it had to be very uncomfortable for you because you come from nursing, which is a totally different industry.
Whole different field.
To trucking.
And that's woman.
They wash their hands in nursing. In trucking, they don't wash their hands.
Y'all nasty.
it ain't nothing clean about trucking.
No, and I was very timid.
Yeah.
So I had to get out of that. Yeah. I had to, like I say again, I had to speak life into myself. Yeah. I had to get up every morning and tell myself, you're going to get these loads. Yeah. You're going to get good drivers to get in your truck. Yeah. Like, I had to speak that into existence.
And the crazy thing about it, I think for the longevity of affirmations, like you said, even to this day, you still use those, is because in the beginning stages, it's not going to work out the way you want it to work out. It don't matter how much you speak life into yourself. You go have some bad days to where it's no different than anything that pertains to success. You go to the gym on Monday, you go to the gym on Tuesday, you go to the gym on Wednesday. Thursday, you might not want to go to the gym.
Yeah, but you still got to go.
But you still got to go.
So it's consistency.
It's got to be consistent. And I think for most people that are feeling like I haven't achieved the level of success that I want to achieve, honestly, you're right there at the door. Yeah. Sometimes you can be one word of affirmation away from getting over that hump. But most people, if they don't learn the importance of words of affirmation, it'll go a whole week or two by to where you don't say nothing positive to yourself to push yourself to keep going. And eventually you just join the rat race.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable, saying it at first, but you have to keep doing it. Yeah. It's not going to feel natural. Yeah. It's going to feel like an out-of-body experience. For me, it did. So you have to keep promoting it. You have to keep saying it. And what's going to make the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is, do they stop when it get hard or do they keep going?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I sometimes equate it to, so for me as a father, that's one of my most prideful moments out in my life outside of being a husband. Right. I pride myself on being a great father. Like, I always want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to grow as an individual to be a great father for my kids. Right. And I remember sometimes growing up where I grew up at, I would see fathers that were present in their kids' lives, but the image that they portrayed from their upbringing, as far as, like, I would go to school with some guys who they daddies were in the streets. So they had this street image about them to where you knew not to mess with him. The daddy. Okay. The daddy. So the son followed under that umbrella, and you can, from the smallest increments of what I consider things that I do now to help me and my son relationship, like take a picture with your son and you don't smile, but you mugging. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
the little things.
It's the little things. Like now, because my dad, he was the type who he would tell me he loved me. He was the type who he go put his arm around me. You know, it wasn't uncomfortable for me to get that type of love and attention from a man in that perspective. So it makes it easy for me to tell my son every day, hey, man, I love you. Hey, man, have a good day. Hey, man, give me a hug, blah, blah, blah. But when you know that the better version of you need to see this, it's uncomfortable, but you gotta go through it.
Yeah.
You gotta go through it. Yeah, you gotta go through it. So when you speak and let life into yourself on a regular basis, especially, and I can only speak from a black man perspective because that's who I am, but I think us as men need to have those words of affirmation for ourselves more than anything.
Yeah.
Because we got to build ourselves up. We got to build ourselves up on a daily basis because for us out here in the world, it can be very scary not knowing how you're going to be successful in this lane,
right?
Or what you got to overcome to be successful being a black man, because we're automatically a threat when we walk in the room.
Oh yeah.
We're automatically a threat.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. But I think words of affirmation definitely will help you overcome some of those barriers, because if you go in with the mindset of, I know I'm meant for this.
Right.
I'm supposed to be in this room.
And that makes a whole lot of difference, just talking to yourself. You talking about the parenting, I struggle with that too, because I didn't come from a household where, there was love. I love you being said. So my kids used to make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Being, so clingy and I love you. And I had to get out of that. I had to talk to myself.
Yeah.
I just watched a movie. What's the name of this movie? Woman in the Front Yard or something like that. It just came out not too long ago. But
Woman in the Front Yard. That sounds like one of them Tyler Perry plays.
Woman in the Front Yard or front, something like that. It's something like that, y'all. But she was like a grieving mother. I think her husband had got killed in a car wreck, and she was still dealing with the kids. Mm-hmm. And my struggle is, sometimes I don't feel like dealing with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just want to deal with me. Yeah. But I got a lot of kids. I got to. So, and I want to, but sometimes your body gets tired, your mind gets tired, and I struggle with, can I do this? Am I doing the right thing for them? Yeah. Am I being the best mom I can be? Yeah. And it's hard. And sometimes you go through a little depression because for me, I have a business. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a friend. Yeah. And all those titles sometimes can pull you down because everybody's pulling at you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I go through that, and I have to get myself out of that funk. I have to say words of affirmations. I journal. Yeah. And I have to talk to myself. I have to talk life into myself, because if I don't talk life into myself, who is? Yeah. So
I remember last episode you said
I talk to myself. I surely do. And y'all should too. Y'all should be your own best friend.
You so right about it. You are absolutely right about it. So as a parent going through those transformations, because even I can't speak on this for myself because I've not experienced having a child by no means, but
you sure have it.
Whatever. As a new mom, I can only imagine how important words of affirmation is because of the postpartum depression and things of that these new moms go through, especially if they don't have a support system.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. Yeah. I had a support system, and even with my support system, sometimes it was hard. Yeah. So I feel for people who go through this by themselves, because it's not for the weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having kids is not for the weak.
What advice would you give to that young mother who is looking for those affirmations, but not necessarily knowing what direction to go in to obtain those affirmations?
Number one, talk to yourself.
Yes.
Talk to yourself. Be your friend. Be your advocate. You have to be there for yourself before you can be there for anybody. Yeah. And I learned this later in life because I was trying to pour into everybody's cup but mine. Mm-hmm. And once your cup is empty, it's empty. So you have to go through whatever you have to go through, but you have to always get back up. Always focus on you so you can focus on your babies, your husband, boyfriend, whatever you got, girlfriend, whatever you got. You got to focus on you. Fill up your cup so you can pour into others, and just keep refilling your cup. Do something that you enjoy, do something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because if you're unhappy, everybody in the house gonna be unhappy. Believe me, I know.
That's a true statement. That is a
yes,
true
my
statement.
husband, he'll let you know.
That's a true statement.
Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So,
yeah. So I definitely believe that's super important.
Yeah.
And I know for sometimes, and that's why I'm glad we're able to share this podcast with people, because I don't think they hear that enough.
No.
I don't think they hear that you gotta speak life into yourself enough. Like I said, for me, coming up, I only heard it on Sundays. And Sunday, it was like, especially back in these days, you're talking about early
what?
Early back in the day. Back in these days, you didn't really Nowadays, you got younger preachers behind the pulpit speaking that you can relate to. Back in these days, it was mainly seniors.
Yeah.
The pastor who had been at the church since the 40s, and he's still preaching. You know what I'm saying, on his last leg. So, and then he passed it down to his son, who almost, right at that line too.
Him, yeah.
So it was like you was gaining this information, but it wasn't resonating with you as a young person, because you needed to hear, every generation has their setbacks.
Yeah.
Every generation has their quote-unquote generational curses, the things that held them back from propelling themselves to get to the next level. For us, I think our generation has enough information to where we can decide where we want to go in life.
Yeah.
What decisions we want to make. We have those options nowadays in front of us that gives us an idea of saying, I can stick to this, and I can become this because I have the resources.
Yeah. And social media is so dominant with everything. It's right at your fingertips. Yeah. So if you don't have anybody telling you, I love you, I believe in you, you can go on YouTube and, pick it up.
We love y'all. If you needed to hear that today.
Really, it's so much access at your fingertips.
Absolutely. You can go, nowadays, you can build your own fan base.
You surely can.
You can build your own fan base and make them love you.
Yeah.
If you don't get no love from your people in your household, you can go build your own fan base.
And people go to war behind the people they love on social media.
Man, shoot. Mess with Beyonce and see what the Beehive do.
They coming for you.
They coming for you. Don't even know her. I ain't met Beyonce a day in the life.
I like Beyonce too. I feel y'all.
But it's interesting that you can have that connection and learn these things that, like I said, can propel you to pretty much do whatever you want to do. Yeah. I was on TikTok the other day, and I seen this young lady. She was breaking down day trading. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching her because she's breaking it down in the simplest complex to where anybody can understand it, that just has a little bit of education. I'm talking about, y'all know I ain't got nothing but a GED. So if I can understand it, I'm just saying, no doubt, we ain't talking down on GED because I'm proud of my GED. But if I can understand it, anybody can understand it. But I was just thinking, if I was to build myself up every day and say, man, I want to learn day trading. I'm gonna be good at this. I'm telling myself these words of affirmation every day. In 6 months, I'll be a lot farther than where I am right now.
Because you got to think, when you put negative thoughts out into the world, or you speak negative over yourself, that's what your mind is gonna start to believe. You feeding this. You got to think, if you have a kid and you bringing them up, and all you doing is being negative all the time, you dumb, you don't know this, you don't know that, you ain't work, what do you think that kid is going to believe? Yeah. But then you have a kid that's, you pouring life into it, pouring love into it. I love you. You can be anything you want to be. I'm proud of you. That kid is going to go further than that kid that you're pouring the
totally
negative
different direction.
To. Yeah.
Totally different direction.
So you got to do that with yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I say this all the time, I think as an adult, when most people become adults, depending on their circumstances, they will put themselves in a position to where now I got kids, I got a job, I got responsibilities. I'm just going to stay here and be comfortable. Yeah. So I don't even talk to myself like that no more.
You know what happens?
What's that?
You become depressed.
Yes. Yes. And you settle.
Yeah.
You settle for what life is giving you because you're not going out there taking what life can give you.
Right.
And it starts with you
Yeah.
using those words of affirmation. You telling yourself, hey, you can do more than what you're doing every day. Instead of getting up every day, same routine, I go to work, I come home, I grab me something to drink, I sit in front of the TV, I watch all the sitcoms, I flip through TikTok. Tomorrow I'm gonna do something different. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna eat me a healthy breakfast and tell myself that I'm gonna work out today. I'm gonna walk around the block. Because I believe with a healthy mind becomes better words of affirmation.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
if you can get that mind healthy to where you feeling good up here about yourself, different words might start speaking into your mind to make you feel better about yourself.
But you know what else you have to watch out for?
What's that?
And we talked about it before. You got to watch out who you surround yourself with, because you can't be pouring life into yourself and then you got friends or family that come down and they speak negative on everything you want to do, downplay everything you want to do, because then what do you start doing?
Yeah.
Believing it.
Yep. I saw this video, and this guy started off by saying, I'm going to let y'all know right now that I don't talk to my mom. She cannot call me before noon. After noon, she can call me. And everybody was like, what? They in the audience like, what are he talking about? His mama can't call him in the morning. And he broke it down. He said, because my mom will call me in the morning telling me about everybody's problems and putting all that pressure and weight on me first thing in the morning. So now this is what's stuck on my mind. Yeah. I got to fix this for my sister. I got to do this for my cousin. I got to do this for this. I got to do that for that. So I don't even have time to lift myself up.
And you just set yourself up for failure. Yeah. You set your day up for failure.
Yes. And my goal, and I challenge people to do this. We're actually going to set up a challenge after we get done. But the goal is, how many good days can you have? How many good days in a row can you have out of the 365 days out of a year? My goal is to have as many wins as losses. And a win is me waking up in the morning, speaking life into myself, listening to something that's going to speak life into me, that's going to propel me to go out and do something better than what I did yesterday.
Right. And this is not going to happen overnight. You know, it's something that you have to practice, because there's going to be things that happen, and it's all about how you react to it. Yep. You know, I've had situations where, let's speak about trucking. People have had an accident.
Girl. Okay.
It's so, to me, that is detrimental.
Yes.
Because I want to know if everybody's all right. You know, what damage is it? And that can throw off your whole day. But it's how you react to it.
I had some bad reactions.
Yeah,
I've called you with some.
We human. It happens.
I've called you with some
Crystal. We didn't have to talk each other down.
Yeah, talk me off the ledge, because this going to be one of them days.
But I start learning, and you never stop learning.
Yeah,
you always keep learning.
Absolutely.
But I start learning. It's how you react to stuff. My husband helped me with that. It's how you react to stuff, because if you react in a negative way, everything following that is going to be just the worst thing that can happen. Oh, I hate this. But if you like, stuff happens. Let's figure it out.
But that's hard.
It is hard.
That's the challenge. Yeah, that's the challenge. Yeah. And the thing about it is, and I'm pretty sure you can contest to this, because I'm pretty sure your husband did this to you before.
What did he do?
He done told you, look at it from this direction. And even though you know it's the right direction, you still don't want to hear it. It's like, dang, like, I know he's right, but boy, I do not want to go that direction. So that's where the uncomfortable come in.
I'll call you, and I'm like, and you be like, nah, he right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
But you have to sit back and you have to listen and you have to reflect.
Yeah.
Stop being so fast to react.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
That's the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we naturally want to hurry up and have a rebuttal for everything that comes our way.
Yeah, but that's a sign of maturity.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Just like in the trucking business, I'm pretty sure in the beginning, because I know in the beginning stage for me, when we would have incidents that happen in the business, oh my goodness, I'm ready to react right then and there.
I almost had a nervous breakdown. Blood pressure high. I'm like,
but you know that's crazy, because you can see why CEOs and company leadership teams and things of that nature, how they resort to things to bring the pressure off of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because of how stressful it can be if you don't learn these tactics.
Yeah.
Because some people can be in positions of power and still not know that these words of affirmation and how you talk to yourself and how you deal with things are important.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to understand that when you're going through that journey of making that change, you need to understand that this needs to be a part of the process.
Absolutely.
This needs to be a part of the process on the daily.
Sometimes you don't know. You have to be taught that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. We're trying to teach y'all.
We're trying to teach y'all
the stuff that we done been through. We trying to help y'all overcome some of that.
Yeah.
Take the easier road, but you still got to go through your own experiences, because people learn better with experience.
Yeah. And some people, they don't like to listen to everybody.
Some people,
they don't like to listen to everybody. So I'm hoping that people want to listen to us.
We know y'all.
I'm hoping that people want to listen to us, knowing that we have overcome not all barriers by no means, because we got a long road to go. But it's definitely a great feeling when you know you're learning, you're growing, and you're mature enough to acknowledge that growth.
That's a big thing. You have to be mature enough. Because some people want to play victim. Yeah. Some people get defensive. Yeah. So you have to, that's something you got to work on. Yeah. Maybe speak an affirmation today. Today I will not be defensive. Today I will open my mind.
Say that again. That's hard.
It is hard.
That's hard.
Today I will not be defensive.
Yeah.
I will open my mind to accept, new changes, new abilities, new ways of doing things.
And literally that's what the words of affirmation is. You telling yourself, today, when I wake up today, my goal is I'm going to be better than yesterday. So yesterday, I know I got into an argument with my spouse about something that I know I could have prevented, but I chose not to.
You chose war.
Because of this situation. So those words of affirmation mean a lot. I've had to have this speech with myself on a regular basis.
What?
This morning when I dropped these kids off, I am not gonna yell and get on their butt. I'm not gonna raise my voice.
I need that affirmation.
I gotta speak that on myself on a regular basis, because my kids.
I think that's all kids.
Oh, my goodness.
It ain't not one.
And another word of affirmation that I have to use on a regular basis is when I'm picking the kids up, not to cuss out the car that's in front of me, taking their time because they can't drive. And
you got road rage?
Oh, I'm working on that. Like, for real. I'm watching enough movies to understand that road rage ain't worth it.
So
I'm definitely limiting myself on the road rage. So if you got road rage, the road rage thing really brought me to, now I tell myself, when I run into a situation, particularly something like that that's preventable, because I'm a strong believer on controlling the things that you can control.
Right.
I always tell myself, even with my employees now, I even tell myself this, you never know what somebody is going through that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You never know what somebody might be going through that day. So I always try to look at it from, how can I make this negative or positive? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because if I've had instances where a driver that this was when we was doing the vans. A driver had just lost his mom, and he came to work, not taking no time off. He came to work that following day. So, his whole demeanor, his attitude, he was just ready to snap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I saw the build up, and my first instance was, let me first figure out what's going on, but let me not overreact because he's overreacting.
That's a hard one.
And that's something that I think we all have to speak into ourselves on a daily basis, especially when you're in position of leadership, because you want to get down to what is the content at hand that's causing this individual to act like this. And typically it's always something.
Yeah.
It's always something. Most people don't wake up want to be in a bad attitude.
I hope not.
Yeah, if you want to be in a bad attitude when you wake up in the morning, take your butt back to sleep.
Try again.
Try again. Like today ain't the day for you. But 90% of the time you want to wake up with a good attitude. It's just something that triggers you.
Yeah.
If you allow it to trigger you because you're not speaking into yourself.
You know what? I think your childhood, how you was raised, plays a big role in that. Yeah. How you react to stuff, what triggers you. Yeah. Personal trauma.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So that's something I'm still overcoming, and that's why I have to speak affirmations because it's easy for me to get in a funk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what helps me. Affirmations. Yeah. I go on Amazon.
I ain't gonna be like my mama.
I didn't say that.
That's what I be saying.
I didn't
you
say
play it. I be saying that because, man.
I mean, but sometimes that's your motivation, though.
Yeah, it is. But you got to speak on it every day.
You do.
My wife be reminding me, too, don't be like your mama.
For real?
Because my mom, she, I'm going to put her business out. She was the type, because of the environment, and like I said, the level of communication we have now, they didn't have back then.
Right.
Everything was with anger. Everything was with frustration.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because of her circumstances, of course, I'm pretty sure. A lot of it led to, because of circumstances. And I know that's why it's so important for us to educate our viewers and our people that watch us on the steps and the roles that it takes to bring change, to become the best version of yourself on a daily basis. That's why it's so important for us because of our backgrounds. And I think for instance, if my mom had somebody to push her to say, hey, every day you need to be progressing to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
Circumstances will make you feel like you can't be the best versions of you, because if everybody in the environment that you grow up in ain't concerned about bettering themselves, eventually you either going to move away from that environment or you're going to adapt to that environment.
And be a product.
And be a product of that environment. And I think back in those days when my mom was coming up, there wasn't some resources that say, oh, you can go over here on this side of town and be away from that, or you can go do this and be away from it, or you can go get a job over here and be away from that. I think they thought that they were stuck in that quote-unquote crabs in a barrel and never got out of it. You know what I'm saying? So my mom was a yeller. She would, everything that frustrated her made her scream to the top of her lungs at times. So I now find myself as a parent having to tell myself, don't do it.
Yeah.
You need to bring your tone down. You're talking too loud. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, the trauma of your environment growing up as a kid. So it's so important for us to speak those words of affirmation into ourselves to know, okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell you when I wake up in the morning, I really have to tell myself, like, don't yell at your kids.
Yeah, I have to work on it also. I got a therapist not too long ago. And, as you go through life and you get grown and you have your own family, do your own thing, you feel like, hey, this is what I'm doing because of whatever is going on now. Man, she broke me down.
Told you who you was.
Man, I didn't even connect the dots that the stuff that happened in my childhood was still affecting me now.
Absolutely.
And once I started putting it together, I'm like, dang, you right.
Yeah.
And so that's when I really started speaking.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah. And that's why I think, in from a therapy perspective, because, and I know I said this when I was young, my younger 20s, I can't afford no therapist. I ain't finna pay nobody no money, you know what I'm saying, to listen to what I got to say. Yeah. Now being in a position where we can now obtain therapy for those who feel like I was feeling back in those days. This is your therapy.
Yeah.
These podcasts, these are your therapy. Because believe it or not, especially in our communities, the therapy is the music.
But
and the music is not good therapy.
Yeah, it's gonna have you out here going to jail.
That's why it's so many crash outs.
Yeah,
because of the therapy that they thinking is therapy. Mm-hmm. You know, because in their mind, my therapy is let me smoke and let me listen to this music.
Yep.
That's not good therapy. Because that's gonna be therapy that you might regret 20 years from now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the therapy needs to be you listening to people who have experienced or going through the experience and the journey of overcoming whatever the trauma is and bettering yourself. Because a lot of the kids that are going through this whole stage of the crash outs, I call them the YN crash outs, they wake up listening to negativity.
They wake up to yelling. They wake up to nobody showing them love. Yeah. Nobody's pouring into them. Yeah. So I would suggest, people find you somebody that you trust, that you feel comfortable with, that you can talk to, that you can, let out your aggression, vent to them, tell them what you want to do in life. And somebody that's going to pour into you, not somebody that's going to try to down talk you or you can't do that. You don't need them type of people. You need somebody who's going to pour love into you.
Absolutely.
I'm very, very heavy on speaking life into others and, showing people love. People I don't even know, that's just what I do and I enjoy it. But that's because I didn't have that as a younger person. That is something that I craved and I didn't have it. So now I'm around a lot of kids because, I got teenagers. They play sports, so I'm always around a lot of kids. And I love pouring back into them because a lot of these kids don't have it at home, and you can see it.
Yeah.
The behavior shows it.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure you run into this a lot. You speaking life into a kid, and they've not received that for anybody, and the look on their face is like they're so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to respond.
Right.
Because they're not normally getting that type of love and attention to whereas I'm speaking words in you that's going to grow you and make you a better person. And I think if more people did that, we'll definitely make a switch around our communities.
And at the same time, we got to teach them how to speak life into themselves. Yeah. That's why we keep pushing these affirmations. Affirmations. Yeah. You have to.
No matter how old you are.
Yeah, you're never too old.
Never too old. And you're never too old to make a change because that's what our podcast is about.
I thought you were finna shoot a slug. I was like, hold on now.
You're never too old to make a change. You're never too old to get up and say, today is the day that I'm going to overcome my past way of thinking and I'm going to change it to this new way of thinking. Yeah. No matter how uncomfortable it might be, I know this is going to be for the better version of me. At the end of the day. And
don't be embarrassed about your past or stuff you didn't been through or you feel like I didn't been to jail or I didn't, whatever you didn't did. Don't be embarrassed because it's always a new day. You can always speak life into yourself for today and make today better than yesterday.
Absolutely. So before we get out for her, I think we ought to give them a challenge.
What's the challenge?
It's simple. It's easy. I think everybody can do it. So I'm challenging everybody for the next 7 days. I want you to get up every morning and give yourself 3 words of affirmation that's going to make you better for that week. So if it starts on Sunday you wake up and you tell yourself, you are going to be great today. You are going to be a better leader today. You're going to be a better father today. Better wife, a better husband.
I'm going to be positive.
You're going to be positive. I mean, there's so many words that you can speak into your life that can make you a better person. I would love for y'all to drop the comment in the bottom to let us know some of those words of affirmations that you speak on yourself on a daily basis. Something that we might need to be using on a regular basis.
Because anything helps.
Everything helps. Shoot.
And don't wait till Sunday. Do it now.
Start now.
Yeah.
Soon as you finish watching this podcast, make a declaration to yourself that this day forward, I'm going to start speaking life into myself. Because it starts with me and where I'm trying to go in my journey.
Y'all know my go-to. Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it and read it several times throughout the day. You got to remind yourself.
Yep. Amazon got them sticky notes. You can order them sticky notes. They'll be on Prime, and they'll drop them off at your doorstep. They are. Amazon will drop them sticky notes. They only cost like $3 or $4. Not even that much.
Right, for a whole buck pack.
Yeah, a whole buck pack for $3 or $4.
But you going to need them.
You're going to need them.
All these affirmations.
Get you a notepad and a pen and just start writing them down. And for those, I'm going to say this, because this was a discouraging thing for me early, probably, I'm going to say 15, 16 years ago, until I challenged myself to get better at this. If you have words of affirmation that you feel like I got them in my head, but I don't necessarily know how to write them out on paper because of my lack of learning how to spell this word or spell that word, use your phone. Use your phone, speak into it, talk, let it type it out, and then transfer that message from your phone to your paper. I know that's something that, like, I personally know people who are hesitant about writing stuff down for the lack of not knowing how to spell words.
And this is a personal journey. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
If you can understand
it's not going to be perfect.
It's fine. If you can understand it, it's meant for you. It's your journey. It's what you need to do to better yourself.
Yeah.
So you just got to do whatever it takes to get you to the next level, to the next step. And I don't care what that next level is. It just needs to be better than today, better than yesterday. Yeah.
Because I'm going off subject, but the frustrating thing about social media sometimes, I see a lot of videos where they're quote unquote making fun of the lack of education for our generation of kids coming up. So they'll ask them questions on camera and making it fun of it. Like
horrible.
Like we need to do better in trying to help educate our kids rather than showing the lack of knowledge that they might not be having at the moment. I've seen a guy asking, how to spell this and then how to spell that. And it's like, it's funny and they think it's funny in the moment, but in the midst of all of it, like you gotta want to educate yourself and get better at those things. They might not be big for you right now, but if your goal is to be successful and achieve all these goals, you need to try to better yourself in certain education.
And I challenge y'all, the ones who know better, reach back.
Yeah.
Get somebody who's struggling or somebody that you can make a difference in their life. I don't care how big it is. It can be small. A small gesture goes a long way. Yeah.
And like our guest Brian said on the last episode, plant the seed.
Exactly.
Plant the seed while they young. Plant that seed while they're young, and hopefully one day it'll resonate with them and they'll get it and they'll continue to grow. But at the end of the day, we made the change. Y'all go make the change. And after this, y'all go start speaking words of affirmation into yourself, and you going to grow.
Love on yourself.
Love on yourself. Like Crystal say, talk to yourself.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Absolutely.
Don't talk out loud. Somebody could get you. But but definitely, like always, man, we appreciate y'all listening in. Go like, share, comment,
follow,
and we will see you guys on the next episode.